some success. So I am at the end of this fascinating congress, and I'm trying to be really short. But I'm glad that at the minute you're stuck to the program. It's exactly 3:45, and I'm going to keep up with this. So I'm a little bit the ending person, and that's my avatar DX2, who's been 6 years old, and we spent a lot of money at the time. I invested in a startup in order to create an avatar with 60 cameras for several days. The computer was computing. That's still my WhatsApp emoji. I've got my own emojis doing like this, etc. And we digitally did some conferences, and I'm showing you my current one. It's only been 2 weeks old to see what technology can do. And now I'm seeing the future exactly like that. Future of hearing. You don't see it. And in this area, I think we're getting in a sphere that I see in many other areas of medicine, and I've been doing digital medicine for many years, so I've been one of the first ones in that topic. And in many other areas, for instance, we published a book, Disease Interception, to recognize illness before they actually break out, so that you can heal that, cure that at a molecular genetic level. And the health ministry, federal ministry, is wondering if everybody should do a standard gene test as a newborn in order to maybe cure certain diseases in the first 2 years, or that prevent their breakout later. So future of hearing will be more and more in a direction of miniaturization, and maybe in the future not be visible anymore for the one in front, and which will play a role in destigmatization and in many other things. I know that from my grandfather. I still got him a few hearing aids a few years ago, a few weeks ago, and I was really proud. He had always had a problem with the accumulators to be exchanged. Until the very, he really took to the very end till they really got them. He's just that was again for him. Oh, and I'm really old. I'm wearing hearing aids. I don't know if there is any difference between the different genders. Nobody will really shout, "Hooray! I need to wear a hearing aid." But maybe there is a technological opportunity to maybe even make it a lifestyle subject. It may also be fun. That's my current avatar, and I want to show you what we are doing with this today. Digital twin of people. David Matusiewicz. It's great what technology can do today, and I'm going to tell you right away. Don't forget to applaud my person of flesh and blood. My name is so complicated that the moderators have always difficulty to introduce me, but my avatar can do that correctly. That only took us 2 minutes, not hours and days. I just stood in front of a camera, and we had a standard software, HeyGen, and we programmed it in, and now I can produce contents without any end. I could give that live talk, and could be translated live in 30 languages and in a quality that native speakers think that I'm speaking in Chinese or Korean or Polish. And that is great, the possibilities we have, because where I come from, in the rural area in Germany, if somebody doesn't understand the hearing acoustician, you don't need to wonder that they are not handling their equipment correctly, and many don't speak the German language correctly. And here, technology may help us in a simple translation and simple recognition beyond all language barriers, so people are hearing problems may be supported. And I'm in many channels like LinkedIn. Here I like to write a newsletter to talk about all the subjects. Who wants to follow me? Feel free to. And my motivation is always reciprocal altruism. It's not egoism. And if I need a hearing aid, I want to have it cost efficiently as an economist. The high-end equipment, and it is so small, and maybe an implant that I don't need to be afraid, but I'm looking forward to it. I can hear what my neighbor says at the fence, because I may even have beyond 100% in the future, and that's my way of thinking, and that's why I'm doing that, and have been doing that for several years, for long years, because I want to find, as a patient, a better health system than it is today. And we're in between cure and algorithms here. You have that interesting problematics. What you're doing is a craft, and is all driven by experience as well. It cannot always be put into algorithms. You need a lot of fine tuning, fine perception. But however, certain things may be standardized by algorithms, and I think AI in the whole value-added chain, as we just saw about the Clinic of Essen, and is all this chain that starts for me as a researcher in research, the development of tools, of equipment, until the reality of care and supply. What does the feedbacks look like? How do people feel about that, the biofeedbacks? If I switch them all together, those hearing aids, and from supply reality, I may propose for new equipment, better equipment, and all diagnostic therapy, post-care, subsequent care, etc. And I've got a column in a magazine, Human, Intelligence and People, and my column is called Superhuman, and I'm describing how a person through technology may become a superhuman, and I'm describing it critically, but I think we are in a good way. And in the current column that is coming out now, I'm describing prostheses, and there are people who say in Paralympics, those people have an unfair advantage. The one with the orthopedic prosthetic may jump further, run faster, because they get better results, and at the same time it shows, it reflects a little our general discussion today, and all the things you can do by biohacking. And part we talk about that. At a trade fair, I was a little audacious and had an FC chip implanted by a big syringe. Had good. I was chipped like a domestic animal. I was in a good mood. I had drunk a little bit, and I had my electronic patient file that what we couldn't have done in 20 years in our system. Like in Scandinavia, I had it implanted under the skin. It looked like a rice grain, as we know. There was a chip in there, as we know it from our banking card, and a blood group, our telephone number, certain data could be saved, and I could put my mobile next to it, and was able to write something and delete something. Could have used it as a door opener, but you have to have those NFC doors at home, and it worked. But I had it taken out because radiologists gave me some stress and said, I'm not putting you in the MRT, and it's a lifestyle product and not a medical product. And they always were afraid that it will penetrate my skin or so, and it was not such a good idea. The way it looks like, you didn't know, it looks like low, but it's fascinating what's possible today, and I was really fascinated a few weeks ago. I can have my whole office on those glasses, but it's even more important. All my Apple AirPods I have in there because I have to telephone always. They are my hearing protection now, and I'm using. I really like using them. I had it on a train today. Somebody was eating loudly in AirPods on mute, and then I was calm. So Apple is not a small company. So the students all have those AirPods, but Apple is now doing hearing tests as well. And, they have millions of data from the people in a spur of a moment. They're using them also as a hearing aid in the future. I can magnify. I don't know how good they are. You are the experts. However, it's going to be a relatively good product because all the Apple products are all not so bad. So what's coming up next? Hearing therapy, all startups that we have had in digital health that all failed, but with such an amount of data and opportunities for everybody who is an Apple equipment, maybe I can't even delete that Apple Health Kit. So that's not to deny that is going to have an impact. And I know for decades I've been discussing if the hearing acousticians or the doctors are cleaning your ears. And the acousticians is doing the hearing tests, and the stuff is still in there because they might by chance destroy something. So we are talking about politics, the shark ponds, etc. And now there are companies that say we don't care, we are doing it our way. And it's fascinating what's done on the market. And I think the market is going to change all of a sudden. We are going to have companies at a trade fair next year, the year after. We can't even think about it. Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, whoever is going to be a player, and I think the pay is going to change drastically. I worked for a state healthcare insurance for 7 years, and our myth was that people don't want to pay, they have their plastic cards and everything taken care of by that, and for the rest they are buying new tires and go to vacation and no cent for the healthcare, and we are well insured. And now in the future we are paying 17.1% soon, and we are already paying a lot more, a lot right now. And mindset is changing, and I don't want to have the solution for in 3 weeks. I don't want to have it now, and I'm ready to pay for it if I'm getting the best solution. And I'm always saying I don't want to have the AOK, the all-around insurance, the cheapest insurance for its equipment. Now we're talking about willingness to pay is changing dramatically as compared to before. You are happy with less and want to go up to 100% additional pay, and I can afford it and I want to afford it. Maybe it's not justified because there is a group that may not afford it and they have to take it, but another group will say, okay, I'm ready to take that and it's important to me and I need to listen, I need to hear something every day, and I'm happy to pay the money. The digital ear, I need to put it into perspective a little. We have 3 steps in digitization. One is paper related. At the moment 70% of the communication is fax and telephoning, etc. So we're only at step 1, to create digital versions only. The second will be to automate the processes. Last night I heard about a startup, a medium-sized company now. They developed an AI looking at the process and automatically improve the process, slim it down from time to time. And the third will be totally new business models. What do we earn our money by? That will change. And in medicine, we're often talking, especially in this area on the right-hand side, down there, how do we cure a person who can't hear anymore, and in medicine, how do we cure them? And now, as a topic is seriously coming back, because I can measure things that I couldn't measure before. And lately I had a problem at a concert, and my Apple Watch showed me 90 decibel, and I had a bad conscience, and I was wondering some hair cells are dying in my ear right now, so too bad. Now my Apple Watch says, can imagine they reduced your hearing efficiency by 0.5%, you're only at 68%, and preventively that may change my behavior. If after a concert I am always in a bad mood, maybe I'm putting my earplugs in again or not go there. So I think prevention will be possible to grasp and visualize. And now, as a university clinic in cardiology, after people have a project that after heart attacks triggered by cigarettes, for instance, they get a home screen for the iPhone, the pictures of the artery that is clogged, and every morning they get up, they see the picture and say, okay, I'm not in the mood anymore. So it's relatively simple things that may play a psychological role, because I can see things on my normal equipment what used to be an abstract notion to me. And I had tough luck, and now it's been cured, and then I'm going on living the same way till it happens again. And now we're talking, not talking about illness, but how can I improve my efficiency? How can I save my ear to not only from illness, but to make it more efficient, whatever is possible biological, until the optimization to say, okay, I can hear 100%, but I want to have 120 or 140 when I'm in the street. And a preventive, predictive, personalized, and participatory medicine. At eye level in conversations, I've founded a few startups, and one was for online assignment of appointments with a doctor. And I think the path is going to be digital. In the future, my futures don't know any services in healthcare that are not on the internet. They Google if they want to go to a certain doctor. They don't look into the yellow pages. That still works, and they're earning good money with it, but my students go to the internet. And we're starting on the sofa at home and see where do people go, and the prescription, everything that's coming up, all this is coming up, and then we turn off to the acoustician at some point, and if not, we go to the University Clinic of Essen and have ourselves be operated on. However, the path is going to be mainly digital, and with some turn-offs. And if I'm wondering who likes it, who does not like this, a little black and white, media triggered. Some say, okay, it goes away, it's just a hype subject, as many others like smart homes and so on. And the others are fully freaking out. Oh, all is getting AI, we're not needed anymore, etc. And somewhere in real life, I want to sensitize you that the truth is somewhere in between. It's not like it's like the internet that did not go away, but it's not killing us. In all the other extremes where technology is perceived as an enemy, and the reality, and I want to show that again quickly, A4 paper consumption, 740 million sheets, and 30 million A3. What do you do with A3? That's reality. We're making laws, more rules, more bureaucracy, and the facts from 1843 is a thing that still, I was talking with doctors, 1877, dictating equipment, they're still using that. People in the hospital who are typing what the doctor is talking in the equipment. Needle printer in art, doctors practicing, I can listen to, I can open the app, and the beep beep of the needles I may listen to, and it says Otto Müller just got new diapers for inconsistency. That's data protection. If we have a lot of rules of data protection, but in a doctor's room and the doors open, I can hear everything, every conversation, name, birth date of the patients there, with all the stories, what's happening in the village. I can hear it all. That's okay, nobody's interested in it. But in a digital environment, we need 5 million rules of what may happen. And the telephone, also a dying out technology. My students hate telephoning, they like asynchronous communication like WhatsApp. At each time to bring it over there, an appointment. I used to we're doing an internship with a pharmacist. They're using WhatsApp for ordering medicine or something. They use it in private, and they want to do it also at work like that. And why taxi and CD-ROM are here? Wrote a whole article. So if data has to be transferred quickly, they are still burning CDs. They don't even know what it means, but they still do it. And they take it from clinic to clinic in a taxi. They call a taxi, and a data CD is transferred if it needs to be fast from one ward to the other. So that is the reality of technology, and what the colleagues just said as well. Now all of a sudden we've got all the AI coming in there, robotics, robots that may build the equipment in the future. In Bochum we have net robotics. I used to be on a couch there, and they took my leg up and down and left, right, moved it, and it all works just by the physiotherapist just like that, and the memory effect notices or keeps memorizes what to do. And all of a sudden I have a digital physiotherapist that is moving me. That's not rocket science anymore. They use it in the physiology as well. We've just talked about mixed reality, blockchain, 3D printing, cloud. Those are all technologies that are coming together, and that's the message. It's not the individual that is a technology that is fascinating, but all of them together. And now I was doing some mind exercise. What could that mean? AI, aided hearing aids could be self-learning systems for individual adapting. I know I'm in a conference room or at the beach and I'm cancelling the noise of the sea. Or my AirPods, I'm a real fan of this. During Corona time, my students, they said that I was doing the lectures in the garden and the birds, and one guy was really sad. I didn't like them because I was always doing that telephoning in the car, but now the people in the car don't know that anymore, because if I'm surrounded by people or outside in the garden and the birds are singing also, and there's equipment that has a lot of technology that can be adjusted in the future situation is context related, and the situation can program itself, including all the monitoring where it used or where it didn't work, or how often the person said what please, and we're getting a feedback process through that. We call it PROM, special reported outcomes, feedback systems from the patients and customers that lead to the fact that you see, okay, it didn't work that well. If not even how often it was switched on and off, and it's worn and so on. Hearing aids with smartphones and other IT equipment. I've got those sunglasses where I've got a camera on in the front, and I can also listen to music without having anything in the ear. It worked relatively well. And maybe in the future there is also the Rebam hearing aid glasses that takes it over at an initial stage or so. It's not excluded. That those players use intelligent equipment. Cloud-based data analysis, I'm relatively sure, I don't know what your industry is like, but a normal healthcare is on the premise, you put your card in the future you work more with clouds. When online banking or so, we're not afraid that every night that our money is gone. We also use cloud-based systems, and nobody is mad that they don't have to go to the money machine. Augmented reality, visual support in loud environments. Maybe somebody walks around with such glasses and something is played in that supports the auditive as well. 3D, tailor-made hearing aids, or the practice equipment. I work with a startup Docport in Essen. They do digital doctor's practices. They go and they tearing everything down to the walls. It's an AI based management system, just one, not several, or 20,000. Apple equipment from A to Z, just one system for all, including Starlink antennas on the roof, satellite internet, including 3D printers for their signs at the doors, and they do everything. They redo everything in the practice, and not the doctors pay 100,000 euros as after the study course, but 1,000 to 2,000 euros per month. When you move, you're taking the system with you, or you have a new one, because you're leasing a full practice of one supplier that is doing it all, provided they even repair your light bulbs once they are used, etc. And this is changing too. The requirements are changing. The study with young dentist students, how would you like to work? And they said they want to do it in several units, in larger units with several people. They don't want to invest so much in the beginning. They want to be more flexible where they live. I think this high measure of flexibility will play a great role. And real-time speech recognition, better processing and filtering of noise. I've just talked about that live translation, like an add-on in the future. I've got the base use. One is to improve my hearing ability, but have another use for automatic live translation. And I'm out of that schematization, and I've got a lifestyle product. Oh, great! I'm on a vacation. I'm learning languages. I can in live talk to the Indian taxi driver, and my equipment is translating it to me and my hearing aid. And the speaker says in Indian what I've said, and I can use it in a normal everyday when I'm talking with hands and feet at the moment. Telemedicine. Smart algorithms, distance or remote adaptation. I think they're relatively good things. And one example, a neighbor of myself is an engineer who's developing a system and listening to organs. He developed a sensor in a startup. They can record liver noise. They don't even know how to interpret them, but they know if that liver noise has changed over a certain time, maybe something's not quite correct. So they recording noise from organs have long-term data without knowing today what to do with this. But they are supposing if they are changing at some point, it could indicate to you, an early indicator to you, even if they are not under symptoms, that something is changing in the body and is not the way it should be. So it's really interesting to know, and you have that big amounts of data and don't even know what the question of research is. It's hard to believe. But to sum it up, I think from left to right there is a lot of changes, and the market is getting ever more digital. It's more data oriented, is all the more preventing, and maybe I'm getting the hearing aids for nothing, and you're paying with your data. And you're giving the data for free to the industry. You can use them at a lower price. Or you're paying somehow with the data, like Google Maps. Everybody is using that, or any other free card services. And in the US, you say if you don't pay for the product, you are the product. So you all sit together, sitting here, the one or the other goes to the toilet, and because Google knows where the tablet is, and nobody says, oh my God. Well, everybody's using that free of charge technology, and maybe on a shared economy, and such an economy is also monetarized, all this data sharing, maybe yourself as a service provider or the patient. But I'm pretty sure that in the future that will be a triangular story between the patient and the customers. They're dealing with the internet and all kinds of things, that they are comparing prices. The acoustician and the doctor put it in one group for the service providers. They also networking and communicate differently. And the industry, the machine app, the hearing aid itself that somehow has an AI as well, it's learning, and now you've got a triangular conversation. One example, the hearing acoustician has something like an Alexa, hearing acoustician's Alexa hosted on telecom, all good for the industry. You talk to the customer, and that document is listening, that apparatus is listening, they are writing down. But they think that they are interfering in the middle. They say, okay, think about that, don't forget about that. And the documentation, that's a great help. And the other areas is about reliability, like with the doctor, and all this triangular constellation will exist with all the advantages, disadvantages, and altogether, I think the factor, the person as a factor will be even more important in the future, and the personal talk will be quality time. Maybe I have less to communicate less. I don't have to search so long for things. Everything is available with great QR codes, and I can take the time for the people and enjoy the conversation and make less boring routine tasks than today. So the last message is artificial intelligence. That will be artificial empathy. So this equipment will be getting much more smart, much nicer. There's a study in Boston from Harvard among ChatGPT users when they say please and thank you, there will be better things and better results. You can caress the hearing aid several times a day. Maybe that helps. So it's to get a better service. Thank you very much.